And Beckham saw Sullivan off his line. Oh!
This is a private members bar.
That is absolutely phenomenal.
Exclusively for the supporters of the greatest football team in the world.
Cleared, Giggs with a shot. Sheringham!
Manchester United.
Beckham into Sheringham. And Solskjaer has won it!
And welcome to another episode of the Biggie and Smalls podcast, your ultimate source for everything Manchester United. If you like our show, please make sure to like and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. And if you don't like us, well, who gives a fucking shit, right, D?
That's right, Scooter.
All right, so we missed an episode last week. Lots to catch up on. We had Ten Hag interview that we're definitely going to chat about with Gary Neville that we both have some thoughts on. I don't know about you. I don't know if I want to spend too much time on the Palace and the Arsenal match recap because I feel like we're just beating the same drum over and over again. What about you?
Yeah, those matches are in the past, and that's where they belong. That's where they need to stay.
Definitely hit on Hoylan's lack of service, and we got a keep loan sell segment where we're going to go through the roster and see who we want to keep. Newsflash for me, it ain't many for me. I don't know about you.
I think you can count how many players I want to keep on one hand. And that's even if you have three fingers. And that's if you have three fingers on one hand. Yeah,
I don't even know if I'd give a hand. I have no idea. And then obviously we got the Newcastle match tomorrow. I saw Martinez should be available for that one, so that should help the roster. At least in the back. So let's kick it off with the Ten Hag interview with Gary Neville from last week. A couple things I noticed, and that is I thought it was a pretty decent interview. I wish Neville would have pushed him a little bit harder on certain things. I thought the one question that it was almost like he was coaching it back. He was trying to push him, but he was maybe a little bit scared to. Maybe that's not the right word. He was asking about defensive tactics on the team. And, the same line we've been hearing all season, injuries or whatever. I know you have a lot of notes from that interview as we've been talking in our group chat. I don't know. Where do you want to begin, man?
Well, with that interview, there's always two sides of it. I personally think that it seemed a little staged to me, based on the way.
It probably was, yeah.
Based on just how the way, like you rightly said, the way Neville asked the questions, he wasn't exactly pushing for the answers that all us fans would want to hear. He wasn't asking the questions that we as fans wanted to ask. So it seemed a little staged, but like you're right, Keith, he straight away every time Ten Hag was saying, well, you go through these injuries, everybody goes through injuries. I hate to say Liverpool went through some severe injuries. Everyone goes through injuries, but it's a clear lack of cohesiveness across the board with the team. So with that, I have a whole bunch of notes on them. Like just straight off the bat, when he said that he didn't exactly say, he said Ten Hag started off the interview with, well, when you're one of the biggest clubs, and then he goes maybe second or third in the world. I'm like,
I actually went back and listened to it, and I didn't catch this. And after I was looking at our text exchange, that's a really good point.
Yeah, like I can guarantee you right now, Alex Ferguson, even Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Solskjaer, like any past manager,
referred to as United as the biggest club. It was you always heard that.
Yeah, you wouldn't put an actual you wouldn't put an actual number next to it. You would just say the biggest club or one of the biggest clubs. You wouldn't say, oh, maybe we're second or third. You don't like that's United never strives to be second or third and everything. They should always strive to be the first. Number one kind of mindset. So that struck me a little odd when he said that. And then naturally when Gary Neville was talking about the defensive tactics, the difference between the season and last season, obviously Ten Hag kept referring to the good old injuries. But we can that's an overplayed record at this point. But he talked about the recruitment of Hoylan, for example, that he had the opportunity to go for a already established player. Everyone knows we were talking about Harry Kane. They didn't get it. They didn't get him.
Like we settled for Hoylan. we'll get into that later or whatever. So, and it just basically just added extra pressure onto a young kid who's still developing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And he said that we went for a talented player with potential that the team could possibly build around. But my point was they spent 72 million, if not more, on Hoylan. I don't know what the bonus structure is of the whole transfer fee. And when you look at City spent 51 for Haaland, so you're saying you can't spend 72 on a up and coming potential player. Like that's 72 million for players that are established. You can't be saying, "Oh, I'm buying it for a player that could be good in a few years' time." Like I get it, us fans have to be patient, but no, back in the day when Ferguson signed Wayne Rooney for 30 million, everyone thought, geez, he's paying 30 million for a teenager. Rooney was worth 30 million because everyone could see.
Yeah, well, that's a generational player.
Yeah, exactly. But even we paid 13 for Ronaldo and we paid 30 for Rio Ferdinand. Like we could go through the whole list of the players that
not to get off unbelievable. That just shows how crazy the money is in football now. That 15, 20 years ago, Ronaldo, Rooney, 30 million. That the numbers just blow my goddamn mind right now.
Well, no, I think the Ronaldo transfer from United to Real Madrid, I think broke the price ceiling on that. Like Ronaldo went for at the time the 80 million pound. I think that literally set the precedent for all the Neymar transfers and all these other big massive transfers that are going on, like the Mbappe from Monaco to PSG. I think Real Madrid signing Ronaldo for 80 million at the time, world record, broke the price ceiling. So that just literally opened the Pandora's box, if you will, for crazy transfer fees. But yeah, United paid like a hefty fee, so it put a lot of. He said it was a potential, a player with talent, a potential player with, that could end up becoming the next big forward. But I read something earlier that Gary Neville said that about Hoylan, that he'll never be a Haaland, an Aguero, a Van Persie, or like one of those renowned Premiership, but he could be a Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm sure you probably saw the numbers too, which is actually encouraging. Basically his finish rate is basically right up there. I think they were saying obviously he's had limited opportunities. We all know that, but on a percentage basis, it's like 22, 23, or 20. Whatever the number is, I can't remember off the top of my head. So I mean, that is encouraging, though.
No, it's definitely showing encouragement, and Ten Hag talked about that, saying that that's why they brought him in. But as they went through it, I know Neville then talked about the structure of the team and then also the structure of the club. Like there's a huge executive shake-up now at United with Richard Arnold is out as the CEO. John Murtaugh out as sporting director. Patrick Stewart, who was the interim CEO, he's gone, and they even got rid of Cliff Bailey, the CFO, is gone as well. So, and then Darren Fletcher actually he wasn't let go. He's been reassigned to a different role.
Ratcliffe's putting his mark on this team. I was reading an article that he's even doing away with like the pre-lunch service or whatever for the FA Cup final or whatever.
Yeah, they're supposedly Ratcliffe's cutting back on a lot of what he looks at as excessive and unnecessary expenses that the club are encountering. So he's cutting back on it, which I can understand, but at the same time, it doesn't sort of bode well with some of the fans and some of the obviously the workers there. They talked about Jason Wilcox coming in. And he's already came in and he's worked with Ten Hag. Ten Hag talked about it. They had a very good meeting with him for a few hours and so forth. Wilcox came in there as technical director. And I think Dan Ashworth's still on his gardening leave over there at Newcastle. But from like our conversation with Sam Lacursty, he was even saying that everyone's already saying that Dan Ashworth's already like pretty much working for United. He's just not on their book shit. He's pretty much doing an independent contractor type, if you want to say it. Like he's not getting paid for them. He's on his gardening leave. He's going through arbitration right now with Newcastle to try to get out of his contract so he can join you guys in the summer. It seems like
it's a matter of when, not if.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then that's when they talked about, Gary Neville talked then about the Jason Wilcox. Like the whole purpose of him coming in was to create a game model. And then Neville, of course, said
that was another thing that stood out to me too. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, so like the game model, and he went into and for the listeners that don't understand what a game model is, it's pretty much making sure that the first team and every layer of player through United, from the first team, from Hoylan to every player goes through the under-21s, the reserves, the under-18s, the youth players, and the 13, 14s. They're all doing the same tactics, same philosophy, same mindset all the way through, which I'm not trying to be funny, but it seems like the under-18s don't need any kind of mindset adjustment, because
everyone but the senior men's team seems to have.
It seems like it.
The youth team, the women's team just won the FA Cup. What was that? I don't know. What was it? 4-0.
They were current national champion. They were under-18s were current national champions today as well. So, and then the women's team just won. They won the FA Cup against Spurs 4-0 over the weekend. So
maybe we'll have to buy an Ella Toon jersey, D.
I never know. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, like, I understand what Ten Hag was saying. He tried to put it in there, and he used saying that the game model is already present at Man United. Hence, players like Garnacho coming through, Mainu coming through, Kambwala coming through. That's youth players that are coming through that are playing the same philosophy and all that kind of stuff, going through the levels, going through the different age groups. And he used that as like almost like the catalyst of, it's there, the game model's there. So, but it was just strange to hear Gary Neville saying Jason Wilcox has been brought in to establish the game model, but then Ten Hag sort of had a rebuttal to say, well, no, there is a game model already here. So what is Jason Wilcox's role then? As if he's coming to do the game model, or is he going to? Because right now, based on this, we just talked about the success of the under-21s, the success of the under-18s, the women's program is doing unbelievable. So, they just won their first FA Cups and being integrated into the actual into Man United as a club, and they've been doing brilliant. So it's sort of.
I even heard our favorite Glazer was at the women's final. D. Avram, he made a rare appearance.
Well, according to what I've heard, is that like the Glazers claim that they don't like to come to Old Trafford because of the hostile atmosphere.
Yeah. So I think it was like his first match in like over a year or two or something.
Yeah, probably.
He can fuck up Tampa for all I care.
Yeah, that's him just trying to think that, I'm going to show up to a women's match and that'll get me back on the fans' good side. It's you can do a lot more than that to get on back on our good side. You can fucking burn in hell for all I care. But anyway, but Ratcliffe came to the United match against Arsenal, and then the Glazer went to the women's match. But back to the theory on Wilcox being brought on. Like, I think Wilcox has been brought on. He's obviously coming as technical director. I think he's going to actually try to establish a better understanding of not only recruitment, but also to ensure that there is somewhat of a structure. I don't know if they're going to do a good cop, bad cop mindset there, where maybe Wilcox might hold the players accountable. Like, Wilcox was a Premiership player himself.
Yeah.
So he...
and to be honest, we are missing that. I mean, there's definitely...
Well, I agree, because like the way I look at it, Ferguson was that good cop, bad cop?
Yeah.
When it came to players, like, he could give the players.
And he also had captains to people like Roy Keane or whatever, and you would never fucking cross any one of those players. There was always somebody there to step in and say, all right, get your shit together.
Oh, exactly. Like Ferguson set the standard, and they made sure that they could regurgitate it so everyone understood. But in terms of when it comes to the manager and like the lack of respect that I see, you can see you see Sancho, for example, didn't respect Ten Hag. Ronaldo didn't respect Ten Hag. Yeah. That's players that seem to have somewhat of influence, because you see Rashford's performance have dipped. So my thing is this new technical director and Jason Wilcox going to come in and Ten Hag be the good cop, and that Ten Hag be the bad cop, that Ten Hag be the disciplinarian, and Wilcox is the man that puts his arm around the shoulder of some of the players, or
built no coddle, blah blah blah.
Exactly, because from what I'm hearing right now is that if Ten Hag is sacked in the summer, which based on the last two performances, I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that he's Louis van Gaal 2.0. I don't think that, based on current performances, I don't think they'll even have a sniff at the FA Cup against City. Based on the way City's playing, City seems to literally hit the right stride of performances. And
I don't. They're just completely stunned if we got a result there. I mean, anything could happen anyway, but based off of what we've seen, it's I'm not expecting much.
Nah, I'm not either. So they talked about that. They talked about the game model. Ten Hag sort of rebooked back on it and said, "Hey, it's the game model's already here. Look at Kobe Manu, Garnacho, Kwambala's evidence of that. The United youth team success is another example of the fact the game model's there." But the one thing I did think was interesting that Neville did sort of poke him on, but he didn't really go as depth and deep about it, was he said that when Ten Hag first joined United, and he was asked, why can't you replicate the football you had Ajax play here? And he said, I can't do it because I don't have the players here. And that's why he went after Frankie de Jong he literally pushed for him. So, and he obviously didn't get him, so he had to go for plan B, but it seems that he does have an idea of what he wants to do. But when you look at the players he's brought on now, and he said, back last season, I can't play the same football because I don't have the players that play that kind of football. I need technical players, gifted players like Frankie de Jong. Well, Donny van de Beek was on that team at Ajax, and he can't seem to get Donny van de Beek to play football to the same standard.
He's he's struggling to find a new club, I believe.
Oh yeah, he's coming back. They ended his loan early, so more likely he'll leave in the summer. I think his contract's up in the summer. Fernandes left. He just announced he's leaving, so the man's made of glass anyway. So his best years are behind him. He'll probably end up going out to Saudi Arabia or MLS. I think more than likely he'll go to Saudi Arabia, pick up a big fat paycheck, and then end up in MLS playing
for a couple of years. Miami maybe. Probably.
Maybe in LA.
Yeah.
But
with Ten Hag, and I feel like I keep flip-flopping on what I want with him. Like, going into the Palace match, I was okay with giving him the summer and another season, but man, when you have just a performance like that, I mean, I think, well, it's damning on two parts. It's damning on the manager because it tells me you lost the locker room, but it also tells me a lot about the players too, that you basically just put in such a shitty performance like that you don't even care. Like, at the end of the day, you're professional athletes, and have a little freaking pride, man.
No, I agree with you. And Ali McCoy said it best. I usually don't agree with him, but he came out and said it. He said it best. He said he's not understanding this whole narrative of the players not playing for the manager, because at the end of the day, this is their job. No, exactly. You can't. No fan in this world can show up to a building site or show up to work or show up to an office or show up and say, I don't feel like doing it today. Why is that? I'm not really liking the boss.
Yeah. I'm only going to give 60-70% of the day. Oh, okay. Let me know how it works out for you. You probably be on the unemployment line.
Yeah. So Ali McCoy came out and said, "Listen, but you're playing for Manchester United. You're playing for a badge. You're playing for fans. You're playing for your family. It's like your name's on the back of the jersey.
Yeah, your pride, and you're also playing potentially for your livelihood too, because just because you have a couple years on your contract right now, and if I'm watching that, be like, I don't know, maybe I don't know if I don't want anything to do with you. That's just me. I don't know.
No, I agree with that, and so I agree. That's my mindset on that too. Just your name's on the back of the jersey, so I get that. But play with just a bit of pride. Like they walked off that pitch. I have to give a massive amount of credit to the traveling fans from United on that Palace match, because they sang when they were getting bit 4-0. They literally
like God Almighty, man. God bless them. Like
Jimmy Carragher even said, he goes, the players don't deserve it.
No, they really don't. The support from the fan base has just been phenomenal. On the nobody can say bad words about them, and to go travel and spend the time, money, effort to travel, get on a train, drive, however you're getting there, staying in a hotel or wherever you're staying. It's fucking bullshit from the players, man.
Yeah, a lot of those fellas probably had to get, they definitely had to get up the next day and go to work. You don't think they decided to say, I don't feel like, I watched Man United, I watched the Man United players not really give a shit at their job, so maybe I shouldn't do the same. They don't have that luxury.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
Like I said, these fellas, like, literally don't, I feel like some of them really have been still on a wage. Like, the audacity of Gary Neville to come out and call Chelsea the £1 billion bottle jobs, but yet Chelsea's above United in the league now. And they're actually playing well. They're winning matches. They beat United. So these players realize I don't even have to even try. I don't have to really even give a shit, and I'll still earn £200,000, if not more, a week.
Well, and that's I thought Casemiro. I don't think his entire tenure with us was all bad. It's definitely been horrendous this year, but I know he's definitely gotten a lot of shit on social media, fans, and even the press about, leaving Madrid for a paycheck. And I even saw, why am I drawing a blank on his former teammate, Brazil, was, basically saying it was a mistake for him to leave Madrid and go to United, for the paycheck, basically.
Yeah, a lot of people said that. Like Casemiro even came on and gave an interview and said that Carlo Ancelotti cried, or like he cried when Carlo Ancelotti tried to beg him to stay. So, did he come for the paycheck? Oh, 1,000% he did. But last season he was brilliant for United. I think.
Yeah,
he was great. But I think I don't know if it's down to I don't know. It is definitely down to the fact that some of these players have down tools, but at the same time, some of the decision making by Ten Hag is head scratching. With this,
tactics, and I'm even sympathetic in Casemiro's state. You're playing out of position, but let's just get into it a little bit. Like the play in the Arsenal match is like that shit you teach, like that's something you would teach your daughter. Like he just. That's like 101 shit.
Well, so I was thinking about this and I actually watched it back. And one of the reasons why United got rid of, I'm bringing up Onana on this one. The reason United got rid of De Gea was because he wasn't the best with his feet. They wanted a goalkeeper that could play with the ball going backwards, right? So if you watch the goal back, Casemiro should have still got on his horse. He still should have sprinted up, made sure to keep the line. So therefore, Havertz would have been offside. But if you watch Casemiro literally shows wide to Onana's right and almost gets to the touchline at the very end line, and it gets so wide for him, so narrow for him, to the point where he's expecting Onana to play the ball, and Onana doesn't even look his way and proceeds then just to kick the ball long.
Yeah.
And naturally, United lost the ball, and then Ben White plays the ball down to Havertz, and they go on the score. And then Casemiro should have got up. But my mindset there is the whole purpose of bringing Onana into the club was play the ball from the back, not kicking long balls, and he decided to kick a long ball. So there's no difference now at this point. And there was a stat that they were analyzing a stat that said that there was like a high percentage of Onana playing the ball long to Hoylan. He plays the ball long to Hoylan more than at one stage after a certain amount. I can't exactly the exact stats, but they said that there's almost no difference between De Gea and Onana in terms of playing the ball long. Where Onana was brought on specifically for that, because De Gea is a better goalkeeper in terms of reaction saves, and he's got more experience in the Premiership. Onana's made a couple of good saves here and there. Has he made his blunders? Yes, but the whole purpose was to be able to have a goalkeeper that plays the ball confidently with his feet and plays with both feet, left foot, right foot. And if you watch there, like if he just would have played, Onana invited the pressure onto him from the Arsenal player. I don't know, I can't remember exactly who was pressuring him. But if he would have just played the ball early over to Casemiro could have took the space, possibly played on Wan-Bissaka, whatever, but he didn't. He played the ball long. And I remember reading a scouting report on United last year. And when United tried to play the ball around the back, and as soon as the trigger for the team to really high press United was whenever the ball went to De Gea's feet. As soon as they did that, they high pressed. So the right wing pushed up the left back, the left wing pushed up to the right, United's right back, and the forward pressured De Gea, and then the two high midfielders, or one or two midfielders, they would push in behind the centre backs. So then De Gea had to play it long, and they knew the reason why is because United didn't have the threat of going up front. Like you watch, we watch Hoylan now. Hoylan tries to hold the ball up, but it's not a strength. Hoylan proved in the Champions League against in the group stages. He scored a goal. He picked the ball up the halfway line and sprinted the length of the pitch and scored a goal. He's got speed. He's got it there, but his strength is not holding the ball up. He's not a Didier Drogba. No, he's not that kind of player.
No, definitely not. And he's also not. I mean, obviously, he's not. He's not. He would be your second forward on the. He's not the number one. There needs to be another person there as well. But yeah, I mean, that's a really good point about Onana and and De Gea is like that's actually a really good point.
Yeah. So that was the one thing about the Casemiro. Is he guilty about not running up? 1,000%. He should have been on his bike. He should have literally put the effort on. It goes back to what we talked about. Like some of these players, they just don't seem like they care enough to make a sprint, just go that extra yards, to do that long busting run, just to make sure that it's the small little mistakes that end up costing United goals, and it end up being a simple goal for Arsenal. But the match overall, I don't want to go into the details.
Yeah,
every single
boring match.
Wasn't even just boring. Even Stevie fucking Wonder could see how bad United are at this point, and it's just the point where I'm getting. It's like I said, I was talking to Sean Barr about it, and we were saying, it's almost like I feel like for the first time in my lifetime as a United fan, that I almost feel like a mid-table club where if they go play the likes of a top 6 team, they're like, oh, maybe we might get a result. We might get a draw. You never know.
Well, it's almost we are a mid-club team or mid-table team.
That's what I'm saying. We're a mid-table club now at this point because like we're going into matches thinking, like I thought Arsenal were going to win 3 or 4-0, and that I've never in my life thought I would ever think that of Arsenal coming to Old Trafford and I'm giving them a 3 or 4 goal advantage before kickoff.
Yeah,
honestly, that's where we're at this point.
Yeah, losing only 1-0 is like, oh hey, we only gave up 1 today.
Yeah, but yeah, so like,
wasn't it that 19 total losses on the season, right?
It's 9.
9 at home and 19 total for the year, right?
Something like that. I think they've 19 is the total losses, and it's like the most since like the season of 1980, 1981 or something. Or 88. Yeah. But no, it's back to like the Dave Sexton kind of era. No, at least Tommy Dock too. Like Tommy Dock won the FA Cup, but and then obviously we moved on then to Ron Atkinson. But it seems that this might be it's very Louis Van Gaal type feel for me, where Ten Hag, he's going into the FA Cup, and the only difference is United went into the FA Cup playing Crystal Palace. They're going up against a juggernaut in Man City. If the players really care, they don't have to care about the manager. No, speaking of the manager, seen that absolute fucking arsehole Jason McAteer comes out he says he's an Irish fella, play for Ireland, but he has the biggest Scouse accent I've ever heard in my life. But he came out and said that he bumped into a Man United star because he lives in the same area as him. And he didn't give a name, of course, because this is a completely fabricated fucking story. But he claims that he met with a Man United star who's a really good young lad, and he told him that he goes, what's going on with Ten Hag? And he goes, oh, he's going out the door. And he goes, okay, well, who's going to come in? And he named a manager. He goes, nope. Graham Potter, nope. And he goes, Garcia, he goes, yep. He goes, players get this inclination where it comes to managers that they can replace managers and all this kind of stuff. So,
yeah, I know we talked about this in a text about Southgate. I want nothing to do with him.
Nah, I don't. I agree with that one other podcast we watched. The guy made a perfect, absolute brilliant analysis of Southgate. He's had an unbelievable talent pool with England, and he's got them to a final, and everyone's like, oh my god, he got them to a final. And no, they still haven't won a major tournament, and now they're losing matches. They lost to France there at home 2-1, and they're not the invincibles anymore that they think they are, and they're going in now to the Euros. And every major tournament we hear, no football's coming home in the World Cup, they're going to win the Euros. So we'll see. I don't want him anywhere near United either. I think he was nepotistic, if that's a word.
Yeah, nepotistic. Yeah, I agree with you on that, 100%.
I think it was a Nepo hire at the FA. No one else wanted the job. They understand the strains that comes with the job, so they decided, we're not going to do it. But I don't want him there. I don't want him anywhere near United. I think personally, I've said this to Sean. I don't know if I said it to you, but I would like to keep an eye on this Pochettino situation at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on him because he's got a Premier League experience. When he get teams to play. Chelsea are finally starting to play decent football under him, given the fact that it's a Frankenstein type team. They're just throwing players together and saying, "Here, go for the best." But
yeah,
I don't know. I think the impact of the last two results for United this season is that it was what we expected. Now, are we going to see a change against Newcastle? I don't think so, but we'll see what happens. It's going to. Not having European football what's going to end up happening is that if you don't have European football, you usually have to either pay over the odds on a transfer fee or you have to pay over the odds on wages. Players aren't going to, so United are going to have to change their business model here. They're going to have to go after younger players who actually want to try to make a name for themselves instead of just a player coming in saying, instead of a player coming in saying, I want more money. Like, let's be honest, that's the way, we went through that with the Van Gaal.
Yeah, we've been doing this same model for, I don't know, forever. It hasn't really got us much. I mean, it got us a Euro, got us an FA Cup, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it. Am I missing something?
Yeah. No, that's about it. Mourinho's won the League Cup. He won the Europa League. Ten Hag's won the League Cup. We got to a Europa League final with Solskjaer, lost it. We got to the FA Cup final last year against City, lost it. So no, we've gotten the finals. But like I said, Gareth Southgate is getting revered as being the next big thing as managers, but he's gotten England to a final. Ten Hag's got United to 3 finals in 2 years, so there's no difference there.
No, it's not. I mean, at the end of the day, we're Manchester United. We're not just trying to get to a final. We're there to win trophies.
Yeah, not exactly. And but we talked about it earlier with when we talked about the interview. But I do want to go into more details of what we talked with Hoylan and the lack of service he's getting and just how it's been dismal.
Yeah, and to bring up, there was an article earlier in the week, I believe it was yesterday or a few days ago, about basically certain players on the team not wanting to pass the ball to him. My initial reaction, I know the journalist who wrote this article has gotten a lot of slack from fans and different people. I mean, whatever it is, what it is. I'm not here to go down on that. But honestly, my initial reaction was like, who is this player, Marcus Rashford? Not that I know that, but who is anybody in that locker room to say they're not going to pass it to someone? First of all, I think it was our buddy Ben Mitchell in our chat says, yeah, they don't pass it to him because they don't know how to.
Exactly. No, I agree. Like, I think it's funny how they can pass a story, but they can't pass the ball. No, I think that's pretty. They can pass secrets from the locker room and stuff like that, but they can't pass one. Like the fact that that's the kind of stories that are coming out, and I don't believe them. But if that was to be true, I've been in a locker room, but played collegiate sports, played soccer here in America, but I would never think anyone would turn around and tell somebody else, "I'm not going to pass to you because I don't have confidence in you."
Yeah. If your teammates leaking stories about you, and I mean, nothing would surprise me at this point, but I mean, Jesus Christ, that's like, I wouldn't want that person on my team. Because that's the type of shit that you keep in house, and it destroys teams.
It's not just that, but just who the fuck has the audacity in this current Man United team, which is one of the worst teams in my life I've ever seen, has the fucking audacity to try and say, I'm not going to pass to you because I don't have the confidence. No fucking fan has the confidence in any of these players. Like, I would rather go and go out to like Piccadilly fucking Gardens and pick up a fucking alcoholic lying on the side and play him over Rashford any week. Yeah, because I have more confidence. At least if I put a ton of beer at each end, he's going to sprint after it, no problem.
Exactly. He's going to put a shift in for his pint.
Like to come out and say that they don't have the confidence, like the fact that the one of the top goal scorers comes from the midfield like McTominay scored a couple of goals, Bruno's couple of goals. Like Rashford has like what 2 goals this season. The one goal I remember him scoring, like the acts of memory, was against City. Going off the crossbar.
Yeah.
Other than that, he tries to do schoolboy stuff where he thinks I'm faster than everybody. I'm just going to go around him. But
hate the
Hoylan, I think. Yeah. Well, here that is Hoyland's role. They went. This is where I'm confused with Ten Hag when his interview when he said, "Oh, we signed him because he has potential." You don't sign a player with potential and then put the entire weight of leading Manchester United's front line on your shoulders.
Yeah.
You just don't. You just don't do that. Like you don't do that. You break them and you sign an established player. Like I don't understand. Like I would have kept. Like everyone hated, but I would have kept Weghorst.
Yeah.
And played him up front. I don't understand why they let him go. Just like I don't understand how they let Fred go and they let Sabitzer go, but then they signed Amrabat. Sabitzer had a 15 million euro buyout clause.
Yeah.
And they said nah. And he's now playing the Champions League final for Borussia Dortmund, but then we've got fucking Amrabat. For 9 million. 9 million loan fee. Not even a fucking signing fee. A loan fee of 9 million.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they buy Fred for 51 million, and then they sell him for 8 to Fernandes. Fred wasn't the most technical player. It's hard to believe he's Brazilian at sometimes, but at least he actually put a shift in. He actually cared.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
he was energetic. He would throw a tackle on. He would do and he'd come up with a goal here and there. But like he was, to put that much pressure on such a young player, and he already has the pressure of playing for Manchester. He already has the pressure of having such a high transfer fee, and then all of a sudden to have him lead the line based on the fact that he has potential, not the fact that he's a finished article. Because we know like the likes of Harry Kane's a finished article. Look what he did at Bayern Munich this season.
Exactly.
But I think if I was to go into the tactical mindset of it, if for a player like Hoyland, for him to get service, you have to have wingers that are going to attack and put the ball in. Too many times, and we've talked about it before, Alan Shearer talked about Anthony. Anthony would drive him absolutely mad because he would make a run he would make a run down the wing, and then he cuts it back on his left foot, and then he does some stupid trick and then loses it. And by the time he does cut it back, the run's gone, the momentum's gone, the defender's already back in place, the low block's already in place, and the midfielder's ready to come back to be able to help out. They would double down on him. Like you've got so the only way I think Hoyland's going to be a good service, you're going to have an old school winger that's going to drive at a player. But along with that, you need wingers are going to drive at the defenders, but you also need to have outside like the wing backs to actually overlap. To give a second dimension of going forward, because right now Ten Hag has this infatuation of putting Dallo in the midfield when he goes forward, or and then Armand Bissaka doesn't know if he needs to go forward or does he stop. And then when he does, when the Armand Bissaka does get an attacking third, he doesn't have the technical ability to whip a cross in or the wherewithal to be able to say, "I'm going to take this player on. I'm going to get into the box." Like if you watch some of the teams that are successful right now, the Trent Alexander-Arnold for Liverpool bombs forward. Andy Robertson on the left side bombs forward. At City, Kyle Walker bombs forward. I can never pronounce his name, but he just scored. He should have scored a hat trick at the weekend. The Croatian defender from Man City, Guardiol, I think his name is Guardiol. He bombs forward. He got 2 goals this past weekend. So, like that's what you need. You need. Like, that's why I think Luke Shaw was such a huge key. He would
definitely add that dynamic to the team, and he's 100% missing. Your team is 100% missing that dynamic, but my God, it's so apparent.
I'm not defending Rashford by any means, what I'm about to say, but I do think that he misses having someone like Luke Shaw playing with him, because with Luke Shaw overlapping or at least attempting to make a run, it allows Rashford to get isolated one-on-one with a defender, so therefore he can possibly beat him. But now, because no one's over, if you watch now Rashford, when he tries to beat somebody, it's always 2 defenders, because what happens is that the left back, whether it be Dallo or Arnold, no one's overlapping. So therefore,
that option's not there. So
because you've got the right winger of the opposing team coming back to double down on him, and you've got the right back making sure to always show Rashford outside. So when Rashford does try to go down the wing, he can't get across him. When he tries to cut back inside, that right winger has cut that off. So they understand that they've literally isolated him away from anything from his strengths, which is one-on-one kind of attacking mindset. So, and the right side, it is what it is at this point. Like Anthony,
Yeah.
Anthony, I don't think is going to last.
Did you? By the way, speaking of him, because he when the Ten Hag, I can't remember.
Play left back.
Yeah, did you see that video of him on social media?
I did, and I seen.
Oh my god! Like seriously, man! Like get over yourself. You're not even any good.
Yeah, he should thank his fucking lucky stars he's on that pitch. He should be literally thanking Ten Hag for saying like the fact that he's able to walk on Old Trafford in general and to actually play. Like,
I don't even think I wouldn't even start him in the final.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen at this point. But with Hoyland, I do feel genuinely bad for him at this point because I do think he does have potential, yes, but I think the recruitment at United has failed miserably here. I still don't understand the Region terminating his loan when he was on loan from Spurs. Yeah. I don't understand that. But what I've heard and what I've read is that they're putting a lot of blame on the head of medical science there at United.
I read
O'Driscoll.
Yeah, I read an article that Ratcliffe is, doing basically a deep dive and trying to figure out what's going on there, because as I know we've both brought this up on previous episodes, is like, I know injuries are a freak thing, but when you have that many, it tells me there must be something going on there. Like, what are you not stretching enough? Are you not jogging enough? Or warming up? Or are you rushing players back because you're so desperate? There has to be more to it.
No, there is, and I guess I said, like we talked about it in our group chat, that this past September, the United hired the former medical doctor from Arsenal, Gary O'Driscoll. They brought him back. They brought him in 2023 of last year in September, and made him head of sports medicine at Man United. And it's been downhill ever since. Like, I have never seen so many injuries in my entire life happen to United. September of 2023 is when he was on, and it's too coincidental that as soon as he came on board, that all of a sudden these injuries kept piling up. Like, Mason Mount has hardly played since joining. Malacia is MIA. And then from what I've read, is that when he was at Arsenal, it was very similar. They were having a lot of injuries, and there were players that were getting rushed back. They weren't coming back, and that's all of a sudden he leaves Arsenal in September of 2023, and all of a sudden now, like, they were challenging for, I think, the league's over. Like, City's going to batter West Ham this weekend. But no, they were saying that from what I read on the reports on the medical side of things at United, that Shaw was rushed back too soon. He hurt his hamstring again, which, it is what it is. But also Martinez was rushed back earlier this season and re-aggravated that I believe it's a metatarsal injury he has on his foot.
I believe.
So I'm hearing that, like, the medical staff at United are, they're not really doing their due diligence. So that's also hurting the dynamic of the team. And we'll see what happens. But Ratcliffe's going to come in. He's got a lot of.
I have a lot of confidence in him. I mean, I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing. Obviously, I know he cares, unlike the Glazers. So, I'm excited, eager to see what he does. I think I mentioned the one thing I think I was a little bit disappointed of, which I think could kill morale, is like you're changing things up the way, for the FA Cup final and paying that employee stuff. I don't know. That didn't really sit well with me, but I mean, it's still early days for him, so I'm not going to, go overboard on that.
Yeah. No, and put it this way, like, I think they're making a bigger deal out of that than ever. Like, everybody's tightening their budgets at this point. So I doubt. Like, but also, here's the thing: he's coming he's a 25% minority stakeholder. He's coming in mainly on the football side of things. So, I'm sure those decisions weren't just made by Ratcliffe. He obviously would have had to take it to the board. He would have had to get approval from the majority stakeholders, which are the Glazers, also to make that happen. He can't come in there and No, it's like
it's not like he has carte blanche.
Yeah, like well, the best analogy, and I said it to JP earlier, is like when we were talking about this, is like it's like if you rent a room from someone's house, it's a 4-bedroom house, and you rent one room, so you have technically 25% of the rooms. You can't go in there and all of a sudden start deciding to paint the whole house.
No,
just because you rent, they're going to turn and say, "What the fuck are you doing?" So it's the same mindset. Like there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and sure, though, for all we know, the Glazers could have made that decision, but Ratcliffe's like, let me be the target for now.
Yeah,
like,
I'll take the heat for you.
Yeah, I'll take the heat.
People already have a million other reasons to not like the Glazers. I'll take this one.
Nah, no, they the whole family looks like fucking shapeshifters, but what I know. But nah, with Hoyland, I hope we can get a better structure around him. But I do think Ten Hag needs to adjust his tactics. I do think not having outside backs attacking, not having the support that he needs. Like this past weekend against Arsenal, you could see him. He was trying to hold up the ball, but then when he was holding up the ball, there was no support. Like, Did he have a couple of chances? Yes, but again, like he had that one chance in the first 10 minutes, I believe. I think Arsenal. McTominay won the back off Partey, and he slipped and put over the bar.
Him and I think Garnacho, which he didn't really have a great game, but him and they were the only ones who really had any opportunities, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see more connection between Garnacho and Hoyland as well. I would like for Hoyland but again, I don't know what they're doing at training because I'm not there. But I just from watching on the match, it seems that Hoyland's told to stay central. But if you have a player like that, if you watch any top notch centre forward, the Alan Shearers of the world, the Didier Drogba's, even the Sergio Aguero's, like if they have to stay central, they're getting service into the box. Yeah, and they're also getting support from. If you look at any top forward that ever played, look at Fernando Torres, right, centre forward for Liverpool. He had supporting him. Steven Gerrard was right behind him. Didier Drogba had Frank Lampard coming up right behind him at all times. Sergio Aguero had little David Silva coming up behind him all the times. Right now at City, Haaland's got Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden's coming on the scene. Like he's got all these supporting casts that are coming up behind him. Whereas Hoyland has who? Like Hoyland has literally, like, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have like the best second partnership I ever witnessed in my entire life. And Ferguson said the 1999 team, he had the 4 best forwards in the world, and the reason why is because they were so connected. Like you had Cole and York had like they could read each other's mind. They were unbelievable. Then you take those two out and you bring on Teddy Sheringham and Solskjaer. They were unbelievable together too. They were like just a well-oiled machine. We're not seeing that cohesiveness with Hoyland and anybody in the pitch right now. I don't see Hoyland really connecting with people. And like I read the same report you did that supposedly Hoyland went to Ten Hag to complain that Bruno isn't passing the ball to him enough. And then Dallo supposedly him and Dallo got into it earlier in the season, and Bruno supposedly took Dallo's side because they're both Portuguese, and then that created a little bit of a discourse between Hoyland and Bruno. And I'm like, this is fucking childhood. This is like high school shit. Like you're grown men, you're professional athletes. Like you're there. You're playing football for business purposes. Like you're there to make a living. You're there to win matches. Put all your personal shit aside. Here's a part. Speaking of Sheringham and Cole, despise one another. And the reason why, because Andy Cole came out and said when he came on one time for England, Teddy Sheringham was already on the pitch and he was replacing Teddy Sheringham. And usually when a player comes off the pitch and a substitute comes on for him, they usually shake their hands, say good luck or whatever. And supposedly according to Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham blanked him and didn't shake his hand, didn't even acknowledge him. So since then, Andy Cole fucking despised Teddy Sheringham. But could you tell that Cole and Sheringham hated one another in the 98, 99, and 2000 season? Nope. Never even. Right, you want to know why? Because Ferguson wouldn't let that fucking happen, and Ten Hag's trying his best to be like everybody. He's trying his best to be an authoritarian, but also at the same time, like he's struggling to get that nice mix. But you rightly said earlier, he doesn't seem to have a support group and a captain that's willing to, really regurgitate enforcer. Yeah, regurgitate what he's saying, and also willing to ruffle a few feathers, hurt a couple of people's feelings, and put personal allegiances aside and say, listen.
Sometimes you need to be told that you're fucking up, and sometimes you need to be told that it's like you can do better.
I think people would respect you more if you were to turn around as a player and not take it. Like, let's be honest, every fucking United player, there's not one of them that can turn around and say, "No, I had a good season this year." I don't know what I can't name one that could say that.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's just been abysmal across the board. It's really been.
Yep.
It's been an entire season to just, forget.
Yep.
And that's probably a good segue into our keep loan sell segment. What do you think, D?
Nah, that was perfect. I was thinking the exact same thing.
All right, so I got the roster in front of me. Where do you want to start? You want to start with the goalkeepers first, being a former goalkeeper?
Might as well.
All right, Tom Heaton.
I think I don't know if he's going to retire. Here's my thing.
Well, that's a good.
I would keep him. Here's my thing. This is what I would do. I would give him a Johnny Evans contract. I would keep him for 1 year, but then while he's there, I would encourage him to go off to get his coaching badges to try to keep him at the club to integrate him into the youth system, because he started his career at United. He left. He came back, and he's been second choice. He's been third choice. You never hear any complaints out of him. And I would keep him for backup to Onana. And the reason I'm doing this is because I would loan out Alte. Okay. I would loan him out. He's young. He's a young goalkeeper. They signed him from Turkey this year. I would send him out on loan. Possibly back to Turkey, where he's comfortable. Let him get a couple of minutes under his belt. It was almost a waste. It was a waste to sign him and just have him rot in the bench. He's played like 1 or 2 matches this year. He's a good goalkeeper. He's young, but I would send him out on loan, and then keep Heaton as Ten Hag's obsessed with always having 3 or 4 goalkeepers, but I would definitely keep Heaton 1 year contract. Johnny, I'm going to call it the Johnny Evans contract. Onana. Obviously, I'll give him 1 more season because everyone hated De Gea when he first joined. Everyone said he was too small. He wasn't good enough in the air. He was getting bullied out, and then all of a sudden, everyone was like up in arms when the United let him go for free. But I would keep Onana.
Yeah, I would definitely keep him, and I agree with you on Heaton. I think that would be a good move with him. Let's move on to the defenders. Let's see, Lindelof. You can sell him for me. Harry Maguire.
Keep, just because of his. He's played somewhat decently this year.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him this year as much as I've ripped on him in previous years. I think he's carried himself very well this year, like a professional.
No, exactly. We talked about his character in a previous podcast. I think he's shown more. He's shown the exact thing that we want from a Man United player. Like someone actually has a bit of character that actually is a little bit determined. But with Varane leaving, and with the injuries that have had, I don't think they're going to be able to go out and. I don't think they should have to go out and sign a player when they have a Maguire there. So keep Maguire.
Yeah, keep him. Let's see, Martinez.
Keep.
Definitely. Yep. Let's see, Malacia. We know Varane. He's already gone. Diego Dalot.
Definitely keep. I think Dalot, out of all the team, from this year, although the whole squad, I think he's the one player that actually has been somewhat consistent this year. And again, he's been played out of position. I don't think the tactics that Ten Hag's integrated with him are to his strengths. Dalot seems more of a traditional outside back where he likes to get forward. He can whip a ball in. He can strike a ball, as we've seen that. So I don't think this tactic of Ten Hag wanting him to get into the midfield to clog up. I don't think that's the right way to go forward in terms of like playing to his strengths, because when you've got you've got out wingers as well, and the likes of Anthony, Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho, Ahmad, all those, like they can't get forward and keep tracking back when Dalot's sitting in centre midfield. So I hope Ten Hag changes his tactics and goes back to like a traditional 4-3-3 instead of this weird hybrid formation that
Yeah.
that Pep Guardiola does.
It was 4-2-3 on against our. Is that what it was on? Yeah.
It seemed that way. It seemed that they played two holding midfielders with it seemed Manu was told against Arsenal. Manu was told to hold. And then obviously then you had Amrabat. Actually, Amrabat I thought played decent well against Arsenal.
Yeah, he put in a decent match, I thought.
Yeah, but considering like that's he's not Amrabat's not caliber, but he played somewhat well. But no, so I definitely keep Dallo. And then Malacia, I don't know what do we do with Malacia, because we have to fucking find him first. Where is he?
That's kind of why I brushed over.
Yeah, you can't keep, sell, or loan somebody when you even know where they are. He's like, it's like where's Waldo? Like,
where's Malacia?
Yeah, seriously.
All right, next on the list, Luke Shaw.
I would keep him but my biggest concern is fitness.
I like him. It's the injuries for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think this next season is his make or break season at United. I think if he goes through another season where he's missing 15, 20 matches because he's out with an injury, then I think that United just need to cut their losses. He was signed by Van Gaal, so I think at this point, he's been at the club since 2016. So he's been here. This will be his 8th or 9th season. He came over from Southampton for 30 million. So I think he's got the money back on him over that time frame. But we'll see. But yeah, this will be his last year. I keep Shaw.
Yeah. I think I know the answer to this one, as you've dubbed him, Aaron Wan Berserker.
Aaron Wan Berserker. Sell him. He's an unbelievable one-on-one defender. But at this point, United, based on Ten Hag's tactics, United need a defender who can actually go forward. I think he's handicapped at that point where when he gets forward, he doesn't seem to have any knowledge of. He struggles. He just struggles.
Yeah, he doesn't. No. Johnny Evans.
Unfortunately, I think he needs to. Yeah. He's sold. I think he showed it. He showed his age. He showed his age this past year against Palace and against Palace. He was backing up like a crab. He was like literally like he just didn't know what to do. It was because you could tell the fear of the speed that was coming at him. Mm-hmm. And everyone talks about he's a great servant, but he left back in like 2014, 2015. Yeah. So. But no, I think he'll end up he'll be a good player for a championship player, even possibly even dabble in the MLS, make a decent paycheck. Yeah,
I could see him ended up in the MLS if he needs. I think he's 30. He's got to be late
37. 37.
Sounds about right. Let's see who we got left here. Amas, what you got?
Who's that?
Harry Amas.
It's a youth player. All those youth players we have to hold on to. We have to hold on to. We lose Jackson as well. Jackson's one. He was one that was being touted to come up to play left back when there was a crisis there a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. So all those guys are gonna. Yeah, Habib and Harry Mass. They're all youth players that'll they'll stay around the club for a few years, hopefully break through. I think Lewis Jackson might be able to break through, but then the rest of them. But he could be the next Donald Love for all we know and end up leaving.
All right, now let's get into the midfield. Bruno. I don't think he's. Seems like he's open to staying, but he's also shopping himself. So I'd keep him if he wanted to stay. I don't know about you.
I would keep him, but if United were get a significant offer. Early in the transfer window, not late. If United don't get an offer before,
I don't want to give him away, but I mean, if it's too good to pass up, then sure, why not?
But at the same time, he's the captain. I would keep him. But again, if he's showing any kind of signs that he's interested in leaving, then I don't think you can keep a player. At the club.
You can't keep a player who's got 1 foot out the door. And honestly, I know we talked about this earlier. I wouldn't blame him. I mean, a player of his caliber deserves to have European football.
Yeah, exactly. So,
let's see who we got. Christian Eriksen.
Sell.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, his legs are gone. He's a great player, but though in his day, but I don't think
I don't think he's been the same since
the injury.
Yeah. Well, I think we're mutual. Casemiro, can sell him.
Yep, send him. Send him back.
Send him to Ronaldo's team in Saudi Arabia.
That's what he'll end up in Saudi Arabia. As I said, I think he'll do. He's 32, I think, so he'll end up in Saudi Arabia for two or 3 seasons, and he'll pick up a big paycheck. Probably, I think he'll end up at like LAFC or LA Galaxy. He strikes me that kind of glamorous kind of signing.
Yep. Let's see, Scott McTominay.
Keep.
Yeah, I'd keep him. I like him. Mano, obviously, I'm keeping him. He, I want to
build around him.
Yeah, I want to build around him. Mason Mount, again, where are you? I don't where if I can find you, I don't know what to do with him. Jesus.
Yeah, he signed for United and used the whole that he grew up a United fan as one of the reasons why. But I would say he's another player that's on one season sort of probation period. Like if he doesn't perform next season and doesn't play regularly and isn't injured, like he's got he'll be gone by the 2025-26 season.
Amrabat.
Jesus, send him back to Fiorentina.
Right.
There's no reason.
That was quick.
Nah, send him back. And the goal for I would rather see little Amari Forson play, I'd love to see more of Amari Forson next season. He showed some
promise.
Yeah, he definitely showed some potential in some of the matches we've seen him in, especially coming on as a sub.
Yep.
The Liverpool match was one of them, but in the FA Cup.
All right. Well, I think this is an easy one. Martial. See you later.
I thought he was already gone.
Still on the team?
He's still on the team. He's another one that's been stealing. He's been stealing a wage at this point.
Yeah. No kidding. Rashford. We've been over this a lot. I'd say get rid of him, man. I don't know.
I think it's best for all parties involved. Like I would sell, but I wouldn't sell for cheap. I hate the fact that United seem to always be the club that sells players for outside of Ronaldo, but like they don't ever seem to get their money back.
Like our relationship, you pull up the transfers we have with Madrid. It's like we send them all these players, but we're always sending them, players at a discount. It's like,
well, it's not just them. I think it's everybody. Like they seem to sell players for pennies on the dollar kind of mindset. So yeah, but no, I would say I would keep him if he's willing to. If he was to come out and do an interview and say, listen, like I know this past season was awful. I know I'm better than that, but if he comes out and just sort of has this like narcissistic attitude where you always feel like he's the victim and nothing's ever wrong. And if an offer came out of 75, 80 million, I'll take it.
Yeah. I'd see you later. Because honestly, like I read his letter in the Players Tribune, and I was just like, all right, whatever, man. Like, you can still go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, this is an easy one for both of us. I'm pretty sure. Anthony, see you later. Goodbye.
Return to sender.
Yeah, go back to Brazil. I don't go wherever. Garnacho, I'm definitely keeping him. He's another one. Yep. Build the team around. Let's see. Diallo.
I would keep him, and I would try to. I hope he gets more opportunities to play because I felt like in the Liverpool FA Cup match was obviously he scored the winner, but I felt like he seemed to always be a bright spark. He didn't do too bad this past weekend against Arsenal. But I do want to see more of him. He played well for Sunderland when he was on loan down there in the Championship. I hope next season he gets integrated a little bit more, and hopefully. But if not, like if he was to be sold, I know United sort of paid over the odds for him, in my opinion. But when they brought him on, but that was another.
Well, another reoccurring theme with our team.
Another Martel signing.
Exactly.
I would keep him for next season. Hopefully see more of him.
Yeah, we've talked about Hoylan a lot. Obviously, I want to keep him. I'm pretty sure you feel the same way as well.
Yep. Yeah, definitely keep short.
And next person, which I would like to see a little bit more of, or I wish I did. I think you do as well, is Wheatley. I'd like to see a little bit, see what he's
got. Definitely. Yeah, no, he definitely. I would like to see more of him. Ten Hag actually seems to integrate him a little bit more, but with the success he had in the youth levels, I want to see more of him next season.
Well, especially in the in the Premiership games. I mean, because basically for weeks on weeks now. I mean, these games are meaningless. So I feel like you can almost treat them as like some teams do with the League Cup games, and they feel their youth on the team sometimes.
Not exactly. I said that earlier in the group chat too. That's really frustrating that United seem to play first teamers and like the early stages of the League Cup and the FA Cup when like they should. That's the kind of matches where like they should use. I hate to say it, but like the League Cup. Some people might think it's important, but I used to always, growing up, watching United under Ferguson. Ferguson treated the League Cup as an opportunity for younger players who didn't really get the opportunity to play in the match in the Premiership.
It's time
to get out there and get some time to prove that they have the ability to be a United player.
Experience, play in front of big crowds,
Yeah. And then more importantly, let some of the first team players get a well-deserved rest so they don't have reoccurring injuries like they're encountering right now. But two players we also probably get special mentions. Good old Donny van der Beek.
He's
one. And then the last one, which
Sancho,
Sancho sell, but another one would be Mason Greenwood.
Oh, Greenwood, yeah.
So I sent you that stat I seen the other day. There was a poll done with United fans, and I don't know how accurate this is, but it was a poll saying it said that 87% of Manchester United fans want the club to bring him back next season. I personally never want to see him in a Man United jersey ever again. People can defend him all they want and said, oh, well, the girl now he's with and they have a kid or what. I genuinely couldn't give two fucks because I listened to that voice recording. I have two daughters of my own. And if that was anyone that even closely related to my daughter, he wouldn't be, trust me, he would not be playing football. He'd have two fucking broken legs. I can tell you that much. And I don't want him anywhere near the club. Yeah, it doesn't stand for the ethos of what Man United's about. They don't need to have people. They don't have players that got in the club.
Fans are fickle, and I think we've all probably have been guilty of it at some point in our lives. But yeah, I mean, we've all heard the recordings. It's absolutely reprehensible. Bringing them back, what is it going to accomplish? It's just going to cause more drama. We've already got enough issues and drama at this team. We don't need any more.
Exactly. And it blows my mind too that he came out and almost like acted like a victim. He's saying that he feels betrayed by the club because of how they treated him differently than the way they treated Anthony. And I'm like, what about man? Come on. Like you were up there. Like, look at the charges you're facing right now. And you're going to try to turn around and act like a victim? Yeah. Nah, not going to happen.
No, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, I mean, you can. From what I'm hearing is that it's like Barcelona, supposedly according to the Getafe president or the owner or whoever was associated with the club, came out and said that like, oh, Barcelona's inquired about him. A lot of the big clubs inquired. Well, how they can have him? Like if they value success over integrity, then go ahead. That's on their on their heads.
Yeah. Barcelona's had their fair share of it issues. So if they want to go down that road, they're more than welcome to. Please. I don't want to revisit that again.
This is the same Barcelona that idolized Dani Alves, and we all know how that ended.
Yeah, that's a true story. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they idolized that man for long enough.
He was fun to watch, but off the field, no need touching that.
Exactly.
All right, so. We got Newcastle tomorrow. D. What's today? Is today Tuesday? What day is today? Monday or Tuesday? I'm losing my noodle.
It's Tuesday.
All right, so we got Newcastle tomorrow. What's it seems like we got. Hopefully, we'll have some people coming back into the team. Martinez, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. I think I read he's supposed to be available for tomorrow. Seemed like Bruno might be available as well. Briefly, what's your thoughts for tomorrow's match? Predictions, anything. How do you expect the team to line up and all that sort of stuff?
I genuinely think it's probably going to be very similar to how they lined up against Arsenal. I think possibly, and they might start over Ahmad, but I think it's going to be the same Onana, and that's right back Dallo, left back right back Armand-Bissaka, left back Dallo.
Casemiro at the back. I don't want to see him there again.
I would rather see Kambala play in there.
I meant to mention this earlier. Did you see the video of him doing the Georgie Best chants with the fans in the Arsenal match while he was warming up or on the sideline? Did you see that?
He's a good little. He's a young kid. He's only 19, so
yeah.
But he also seems the one that actually he seems to be a kind of player that actually plays for the badge. Like he genuinely enjoys it. Like against. In a couple of matches I've seen him, he made a couple of really good last-ditch tackles. And the way he celebrated, you swear it was a goal. But that's the kind of player you want in the back line. That was like a Martinez kind of thing. So, but we'll see. I don't want to. I prefer to not see Casemiro in the back ever again. And if he plays against Newcastle, is going to eat them alive. But I hope Kambala plays and maybe put Casemiro in there with Menu. And maybe Bruno might be back, but if not, I think it might be. I am not object to playing 3 holding midfielders tomorrow, and that would allow the outside backs to get forward, like I've been asking them, like play Menu, Casemiro, and McTominay in the midfield, and have almost like an inverted triangle midfield with Casemiro just sitting at the anchor, McTominay and Menu with the legs ahead of him. And then obviously Garnacho left wing. Maybe
Anthony on.
maybe, and then obviously Hoyland up front, and we'll see what happens from there. But we'll see. It's hard now to get sort of excited for matches, knowing that it's the United still has something to play for. That's the thing that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I see posts all the time. Fans say, "Well, this match, about the Arsenal match, it didn't really matter anyway because our season's over." But no, United if United lose now against Newcastle tomorrow, and then I doubt West Ham will beat City, but if Brighton win both their matches in hand, they both might have left.
Yeah.
Like United could end up 9th.
Yeah.
In the league. Fucking 9th.
I know.
So they're 3 points behind Chelsea.
When you look at that table, it's like, honestly, you know what the biggest number that stands out to me in that table is the -4 goal difference. God Almighty, does that number sum up this season in a nutshell?
No. And ironically, it's Amrabat's number. So if that's not fucking coincidental, I don't know what is. But no, if they win, I'm hoping they can get a result, especially at Old Trafford. It's the last match of the season at Old Trafford because they play away to Brighton.
Yeah, and being the last home, I mean, my God, the fans have been so good all year to these players. My God, at least do it for them. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, try to end the season on a high, because if not, I genuinely would not understand if they do, the walk around the stadium at the end of the last match of every season. The players usually walk around the stadium, applaud the fans, have their kids and families on the pitch, and walk around and thank the fans for all the support this season. I think if they don't put a performance in that's worthy of Manchester United, I don't think there's any reason for them to do that walk. I think I'd tell them just fuck off into the change room. The ones that are leaving, see you later. Don't let the fucking door hit your arse on the way out. And then the rest of you, enjoy your some time
enjoy
off.
Your holiday, enjoy your summer.
Best of luck if you're playing the Euros. But just don't bother being because at this point the United fans they're not stupid. They don't need patronising by players pretending like, I don't want to see Varane walking around, smiling and waving and clapping. Just no.
I'm sure you saw his social media post. Very sad, very sappy, D.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I seen it. I watched it, and I just again he was smiling. He was smiling in the interview. Like I don't get it. Like I agree with Roy Keane. Like they shouldn't be smiling. Like footballers should. Like you're leaving a club. Like you're smiling because you just literally you just rooked the team, the club of millions over the years you've been there, and and you're a lot richer now than you were ever in your life, and you're probably more than likely going to go earn more money in Saudi Arabia or wherever else. But I'm hoping tomorrow. But again, I'm going in with this. I'm trying to go in with a mindset of a glass half full, but it's hard to be not to be pessimistic. But I'm hoping United maybe they're going to always concede goals. They're going to concede goals. Yeah. I'm hoping it's going to be maybe like a 2-1 United. But it all depends too if Bruno comes back. If Bruno's back tomorrow.
If Bruno's back tomorrow, and we talked about this in our group chat as well, it's definitely very noticeable when he's not in the team. Very noticeable. So hopefully he's available. Hopefully he's available for tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
I would think, if he is, obviously he's going to want to play regardless. But I would think you want to get a little bit of match fit, for the final too. Because if it's going to be his last year, I want to see him in the final.
Yeah, no, and I agree, and that's another thing too. Like United stuck right now in limbo of do they play their starting the strongest 11 against Chelsea and then also against Brighton, or did they decide, let's get these players fit and healthy and get some rest in them and then play? No, geez, might not be a bad idea to reward some of these under 18s and under 21s with some Premiership and say, go out, because right now, as I said, they're 3 points behind Newcastle. Newcastle's sitting in 6th. Right now, United's outside of the European spots. If they beat Newcastle, they'll jump over Newcastle. They won't jump over Newcastle. They'll be level on points because of the goal difference. But they do technically have something to play for. But the last time United didn't have European football was Louis van Gaal's season after he succeeded Moyes. So are we going through another summer like that? Probably. But if they lose tomorrow, and it's another poor performance like we've seen the last 2 matches, and I think Brighton should just expect to see the under 18s and under 21s, because I wouldn't play a single player.
No, if they put in a terrible lose tomorrow, just play the under 21 team. Play as many as the young kids as you can, because at that point there's no point. There's nothing to play for in the league.
No. So we'll see. We'll definitely get to. Definitely hope for the best, but expect the worst.
No doubt about it. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Man, this went by quick. We've been talking for almost an hour and 20 minutes.
We had to make up for last week, so this is 2-1. This is a 2-1. You're welcome, people.
Twofer, yeah, exactly. And if you don't like it, well, who gives a shit? But all right. Well, thanks for listening to the Biggie and Smalls podcast. You're all things source from Manchester United, and we will talk to you next week.